The Tampa Bay Rays are still in New York City, not facing the Yankees this week, but the New York Mets, a team with a big payroll, but not quite the win-loss record to show for it.
Yeah, underwhelming would be the perfect adjective for this 2023 New York Mets season. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, the Topkin Reply Guys segment comes back today. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. Also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We may be having a mailbag episode this week, so get those questions in, preferably a voice memo, 60-second or less. All right, without further ado, the Tampa Bay Rays are back in action after a Monday off day, and they face a team with, as of this recording, stands at 20-21, but has a payroll of nearly $354 million, making the New York Yankees look like the Oakland Athletics or the Baltimore Orioles or your Tampa Bay Rays. It's really remarkable.
Yes, a lot of money, but not a lot of wins banking on. And I bet that sometimes these owners that spend so much money, they're just like, wait, how are we spending this much money? And teams like the Orioles and the Rays are having that much more success. And it's like,
I think generally that is the mindset of many owners out there. I think for Steve Cohen, he doesn't give a bleep. He just, I think it's almost like a clout thing of, I have the most money to spend. I'm going to spend that money. Of course, you want to win more ball games, but it's like, hey, I'm just going to drop this on you.
Yeah,
I wipe my bottom with hundreds.
I think for him it's the attitude that I think a lot of us would love to have if we're if we were ever in that situation where it's like, this is a game. Like, I own a damn baseball team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun. Like, that's that. Like, I'm just gonna put the money to be as hopefully as successful as possible. Now the problem is that you got to spend correctly, not just throw money at the problems. And maybe throwing money at two elderly veterans to be your 1-2 punch in a rotation, as shiny as those names are.
Yeah.
Well, one just is coming back. He's just starting in Verlander, and the Rays will face him. And the other one is Scherzer, who has not had a great 2023 season, suspended for alleged illegal substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So just not a great start. Cookie Carrasco is on the mend. So yeah, Quintana hasn't pitched the whole year. So you got some nice names, but they're older, they're veteran, and they're not giving you a lot of innings. So that's an issue.
What's amazing about this roster, and I should note that the Mets, yes, 20-21, they're 22nd in runs scored, 19th in team OPS. It's basically the Pete Alonso show. I don't think really anybody else has stepped up offensively all that much for the Mets, unlike the Rays. 21st in team ERA as well. But you add Max Scherzer's and Justin Verlander's salary, they're 43 million salaries apiece and some change. And it kind of blows the Rays' entire roster in the water. Like, that's what we're dealing with here. Not to mention, I'm glad you brought up the injured list. They've got ballparking it like $50 million on the injured list. You've got Edwin Diaz, Cookie Carrasco, Quintana, like you mentioned, Narvaez, Brooks Raley, Eliezer Hernandez, and then the retained salaries too. Robinson Cano and James McCann and Darren Ruff. That's a big, big chunk of change. So there's
Ouch.
a
Yeah.
lot of wasted money that the Mets are throwing away. And honestly, like I look up and down the roster, and yeah, there's some impressive big names, but it's like for a team with a $350 some odd million payroll, I would expect like every position player, every starting pitcher, every bullpen guy to like have at least one all-star appearance. But it's kind of
Yeah.
an underwhelming roster. And I think a lot of that too is because of the injuries, but an underwhelming roster by those standards, quite frankly.
Well, again, and underwhelming on the way that they've performed too, because maybe, if Mark Hanna is actually putting Mark Hanna numbers, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's good, but that's not what's happening, and I know that for a fact because I have Mark Hanna in my fantasy team, and
That's a
he's
shame.
so, but we on Monday's show we talked about the Rays bullpen, the bullpen for the Mets. I don't think has been such a worry for them. The home run has been an issue, but hits per 9, they're first in the league. Whip, they're first in the league. Walks per 9, they're fifth in the league. So I don't think they're going to beat themselves up. The long ball is an issue, so hopefully when the Rays do see that bullpen, that's when their big swings come out. Brooks Raley, by the way, was on the IL, inflammation on the elbow, so he's coming back. So we're going to get an X-ray situation there. But
and Tommy Pham, he's on the roster as well.
Yeah, another X-ray. So this is going to be an interesting series. I know that just with the way that the Mets have been playing and the way the Rays have been playing, you should expect a series win, though.
As of this recording, the thing that concerns me is what the starting pitching or the pitching situation in general is going to look like for the Rays, because I'm looking at it right now. I see TBD versus Justin Verlander, TBD versus Kodai Senga, the Japanese import that the Mets have thrown a bunch of money at, and then TBD versus TBD. A lot of TBDs there for the Rays.
Well, I mean, like we said the other day, it's Shane McClanahan, Zach Eflin, bullpen. Now, one of those bullpen days, Chirinos is going to take the bulk of those innings. Another day, Fleming is going to take the meat of those. But that's why the bullpen is so gassed. That's why the bullpen is not performing as it should, man. I don't know when the Tosh Bradley call-up is going to happen. Could it happen this series? It could. It very well could. It's not like he's also doing great in AAA, but I think we've all talked about that. When you go to you get your call-up to MLB and then you get sent down. Again, human beings, people, not numbers on spreadsheets. These guys have emotions. So yeah, you have such an adrenaline of like being in a major league clubhouse, you're doing well and you get sent down. You might have a little bit of your enthusiasm sapped, which is more than understandable.
And also you might be the front office and the coaching staff has told you and directed you to work on specific pitches and specific counts and to fine tune a certain pitch. So, hey, in the third inning, I only want you throwing change-ups, straight change-ups. So that could be something as well to it.
Yeah, 100%. So the AAA numbers don't. I mean, I don't think anybody should get scared about like, oh, something is broken. Like it's fine. 100% is fine. So yeah, the pitching, I think it's an issue. I don't. You're not gonna see Zach Eflin and you're not gonna see Shane McClanahan against the Mets. So Chirinos, Fleming, hopefully Bradley, they're going to be options for this week. And so yeah, like I said earlier, you wish that the Rays can take the Mets series just because of how they've played each other, but how they've played in each other's seasons. But I'm still kind of vacillating a little bit due to the pitching woes that the Rays are facing right now.
Where's Michael Wacha when we need him? Where's Rich Hill when we need him? Come on, we need a savior. We need a 40-year-old, 35-year-old veteran starter to patch this thing together to get us through this. Chase Anderson could have been that guy, but Rays didn't think so. So, all right, we've got going to end the show on a fun note with Topkin Reply guys. a new, hopefully recurring segment created by Ulises, and I know we've gotten some fun response on that. But first, we have to tell the audience about something very important.
Yes. Well, I got to tell you, sometimes you have to take out stress from your daily life. And sometimes stress comes in the way of buying tickets for, let's say, a theater or a concert or a baseball game. Well, that can be a thing of the past if you download Game Time. Why? Because Game Time is the place for last minute ticket deals. You can get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can buy the tickets in a matter of seconds. It's 2 taps of the growing ticketing app of the country for a reason, the fastest, okay? 2 taps and boom, you're set. You have your tickets. And the best thing about it is that they're sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. So you can snag those tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Perhaps you want to see the Rays take on the Milwaukee Brewers when they come back to the Trop. Okay, and you can do that. Okay, you can do that by downloading the Game Time app. Again, terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. You can download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Now, Kevin, how about we go and talk about some Topkin Reply, guys?
Yeah, Topkin Reply, guys. Ulises, I'll let you do the honors of your impetus for developing a segment like this.
Yeah, let's first talk about the origin. We all know that on Twitter, as Kevin so very smartly anointed anti-social media, anytime Mark Topkin tweets, there are going to be some replies that are just plain and simple asinine.
Poopy
Indeed. So these can get to you if you're just reading these back and forth all the time. And so we thought, okay, this is a great segment of, putting them out there and just kind of educating people on why these are poopy takes.
Yeah.
We want to just get our Locked On Race listeners and race fans in general to just start thinking a little bit more critically about, baseball and what, takes should be like.
Yeah.
And I will say, collecting these, Kevin, has kind of made me understand who Mark Topkin is.
He's very what is the word I'm looking for? Not holier than thou, but can be snarky.
He can be snarky. He can be sarcastic. He can be jaded. And
yes.
And now I'm like, that can come off like, oh man, no, I get you, Mark. Mark, if you're listening, if you're watching, Mark, dude, I get it. How could you not be this way when you have people replying things to you such as this one? Let's see. This is the first one. So he says, Rays McClanahan walks Torres, then gives up a 2-run home run to right field to Judge. And there are 2 replies here. Number 1 says, okay, pitching is a disaster. Pitching is a disaster. This is a guy.
This is really funny because first of all, that I guess Shane McClanahan isn't even allowed to give up a home run ever over the course of 2023 or the entirety of his career. That's your immediate. And I understand it from the sense of, look, a lot of pitchers have gone down recently and historically for the Rays, but just because Shane McClanahan gives up a home run to Aaron Judge of all people, that Shane needs Tommy John surgery. That's a little ridiculous. Yeah. And pitching is a disaster. That's your response to Shane McClanahan versus name any other pitcher on the roster.
again, yeah, like he didn't give up a home run to a fan. No, he just gave it up to one of the most prolific power hitters we've seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, that should be allowable, people. Pitching is a disaster. Bad take, man. Bad take. And also the second one, you already alluded to it. Shane probably hurt. So if Shane doesn't give up home runs, that's then he's healthy. I don't understand this at all. I mean, some of these might be trolls. We are not naive to the
Right.
fact that some of these are trolls, but if they are, man, find another hobby. That's
Yes.
how is that what you're doing? Just
Enjoy. Do something else with your. When did Shane McClanahan pitch? Yesterday or Saturday or Sunday or
Saturday?
Saturday. Okay. Mother's Day weekend. Do something better than tweet.
Yeah, find something to give to your mom. That's a better way of spending the time. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one actually was sent to us by Locked On Race listener and everydayer David Lopez. So thank you, David, for sending this in. By the way, you guys can send these in to us. Just, send the tweet. You do the edit so that you don't see the person's picture nor name, and then we can go about that. Okay, so this one says, Rays Cash said they decided to use Guerra as opener because he was freshest of the relievers, and it was a relatively low leverage way to get him acclimated. It also was just the second time he started a game as a pro. So far, a deep flyout and 2 walks. And this person says, and we let him pitch. Why? Now,
Didn't Topkin explain that already by what Cash said?
These are, is reading comprehension just completely out the window? Just the paragraph.
Look,
itself.
As somebody that works in that business and has worked in that business, 4 words: people don't read anymore. People don't read. Kids, adults, whoever it may be.
It's in the tweet. It's in the tweet. Why? I think actually he gives you not one reason, which is he was freshest of the relievers.
See, I actually like the first response that you didn't block out. It's just a funny response. Let's not do that again. Okay?
Yeah, that's funny.
I like that. The second one, you just weren't paying attention.
You weren't even paying attention. Yeah, that one, the first one, we can all let's do that. Okay, that's okay, funny. Sometimes you got to be funny. But the second one is and we let him pitch. Why? Bro, just read. This is what I don't understand. It's right there in front of you. Come on. All right. These next 2 were found by Mr. Weiss. So walk us through them.
Okay. So Mark Topkin retweets to a Durham Bulls post that Kyle Menzardo has gone deep in 3 consecutive games. Good for him. Kyle Menzardo, hotshot prospect on a tear so far this season. And Mark Topkin notes that one of the Rays' top prospects. I feel like this is a little kind of seed that Mark Topkin is planting. He kind of wants the response and he wants to play it up a little bit. But one of the individuals that commented to this post from Topkin, by Isaac Paredes. I don't understand that at all. What did Isaac Paredes do, let alone this season? He's got a nearly 800 OPS. He's actually taking off speed and hitting it the other way. He's actually shown a proclivity to do that up the middle and the other way. It's not just, getting a pitch and hit for a home run or down the line, but I need to drive in this runner by any means necessary, and he's shown to do that. Isak also plays a decent enough, I think, third base. Kyle Menzardo doesn't play third base. So I don't know. And maybe it has to do with, I guess Isak doesn't necessarily have the pizzazz or shine factor that so many other guys have, and everybody wants to see the next prospect. But I feel like, I don't know if Isak's the guy to get rid of it at this point.
No, I think also devil's advocate, maybe he also wants to be funny, by Isaac Paredes. So that
possibly,
that could be it. So we're gonna give you an out, whoever you are. We're not doxing people here. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Isaac Paredes has done a wonderful job, kind of adjusting more to the context of the at bat. We saw that on Sunday. dude did his best Harold Ramirez impersonation driving in that run, and staying through the ball, not trying to pull it, just kind of play pepper with it. So I really appreciated that from Isak. So I think he's been doing well offensively. I like you said, nearly an 800 OPS, playing really solid third base. You can put him at first when Yandy has growing tightness in the first inning. You have that guy that can do that. But yeah, that's I hope that it was just more of a troll for this one.
Question: if the Rays were like, "Hey, Kyle Menzardo, we can't afford to not call him up. We need him nowsers. Let's give him a shot. Let's give him an opportunity."
Yeah.
And maybe he is one of those rare breeds that only needs 100 at-bats in AAA before it's like, okay, he's good to go. He's ready. I mean, he has been one of the fastest risers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I call it a very, very established and very accredited college ball player that was drafted in the second round. But to see his trajectory has been pretty remarkable and amazing. But if that was the case, all things being equal, assuming that Yandy Diaz is healthy, who is it? Who is the guy to go? Is it Isak Paredes? Is it Harold Ramirez? Is it Luke Raley?
Yeah, I would say it would have to be Luke Raley.
Okay.
Lefty has taken some spot at first base. I know most of you are going to be like, well, he's also playing in the outfield. I guess you're going to see a little bit more Harold Ramirez when you need to.
And that goes back to my point about this tweet or this response is that outside of Isak Paredes, who's playing third base? Taylor Walls, right?
Yeah.
Those are your only. Harold Ramirez can't play third.
Nope.
Luke Raley can't play third.
Nope.
I don't think the Rays want Yandy Diaz playing third anymore.
I don't think so either.
So, and
unless it's like a, hey, seventh inning, sorry, we kind of did something funky.
But now he hasn't. I mean, when's the last time he's played third base? Look, I haven't watched every single inning, but it seems like they've found, hey, you seem to be hitting the ball off the screws or on the screws playing first base. You have your role is perfectly situated. Like, set it and forget it. Like with Wander at shortstop, set it and forget it. You're good.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I think it would be Luke Raley. For that particular one. Okay. So we have our last one. Topkin Reply guy.
Okay.
So walk us through this one.
Mark Topkin says some of the pink gear the Rays will be using and wearing today for Mother's Day, and the reply, what's their record in pink? So this is, first off, why? What does it matter? Who cares? Although I'm sure that the Rays communication staff has some sort of odd stat about that, about what the Rays Mother's Day record is, but what the record is in pink is, I don't know who would want to come up with the time and the energy to put forth that. Not to mention Mark Topkin, like, again, he's got better things to do than dig that up and find that out. Like, this was a question that hopefully he is the only person in history that ever asked a question like this. It's like, we don't need this in our lives, quite frankly.
I think also most of these questions, when they are put in underneath the Topkin tweets, it's also like what you're saying is who is this person's expecting to come up with an answer here? Like, you're actually expecting Topkin to answer that? Or are you just putting it out there in the ether expecting no answer, but you just want to?
I think he's legitimately looking for an answer from Topkin, as if Topkin that is his job to reply to all 60, 70,000 of his followers.
Is that what it is? You think that there's people that just reply, these Topkin Reply guys just sometimes get on there just because they think that Topkin should reply to them? Is that really what their mindset is?
Because every so often, Topkin will reply to these types of questions.
I don't get it. Like, I just feel like to ask questions so makes me feel like you're not self-aware.
Yeah.
And you need some time to become self-aware.
I can think of a billion other better baseball related questions to ask than that one.
100%. 100%. Not what's the record and pick. Cute question, if anything. Okay, cool. Maybe it's another troll trying to have
Possibly.
some fun. That's always a possibility. It's 2023. People like to be trolls in the internet. But yeah, I just don't subscribe to that.
My response to one of Mark Topkin's tweets would be this: "What's your salary? What do you make?" That's legitimately what I want to know, and I want an answer from Topkin. I think
Why?
based off everything he does, I just like to know what people make. It's very interesting to me.
It's a sport track.
Yeah.
Just put it
I
on.
was always obsessed with payrolls, MLB payrolls. So what's Topkin making? Close
What's Brian
to six
Hoach
figures,
make?
I would say.
Yeah, what's Brian Hoach make? All these beat writers, right? I mean, do the Yankees beat writers get paid more than the Tampa Bay ones, and the Tampa Bay ones get paid more than the Colorado Rockies make? Is that a thing?
That's a good question.
No.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, there we go. Another fun edition of Topkin Reply, guys. And Ulises, should we open it up to the comments? Let people give their thoughts on this segment.
100%. I know that we had a mixed bag the first time. Some people thought that it was hilarious and that these people should be put under the spotlight for them.
Be
Other people,
blasted.
oh yeah,
Blast
exactly.
your butt.
Yeah, they were like, good for you for putting these guys on blast. Others were like, nah, this is a little bit too snobby. People can have whatever it takes they have. I don't think this is the right type of segment. So hey, keep writing those comments. Tell us if you like the Topkin Reply Guy segment, the TRG segment, or if you despise it. And if you like it, hey, send us a Topkin Reply Guy on social media, either Instagram at Locked On Rays or on Twitter at Locked On Rays, or to us privately as well. You can do that too. And yeah, just let your voice about this whole new segment on the comments.
All right. Well, hopefully the Rays going back to on the field can keep it up and win against the New York Mets. Still holding out hope for the Rays going 151-11. It's still a possibility. It still can happen, folks. So let's wish it on. All right. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Listen to us every day. That's what we want you to be. We want you to be an everydayer.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to, we should have done this on Monday, but to two everydayers. R. Griff 5 on Twitter went to the New York Yankee game, also went to the Baltimore game. We talked about him when he went to Camden Yards. He also went to the Bronx. And OG listener, Ant Verdi, also went to Yankee Stadium, got us that W on Sunday. So, Ant Verdi, awesome dude, makes really cool pocket shirts. You guys should check his stuff out. He's awesome. He got the W on Sunday. So just want to give those two guys a shout out.
That is awesome. And again, tweet at us that you're on the road or you're at a certain game, somebody that's at Citi Field over the course of this series, tweet at us. Yeah. And we'll retweet you and give you a little bit of kudos and props there. So keep that in mind. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.